Monday. We are back. Thank you so much for your patience the last few weeks as we've been traveling. I'm Lesley Logan, co-founder of OnlinePilatesClasses.com, and we are going to talk about Pilates at home versus Pilates in a studio. Can you still get the same results? And I'm really excited to dive into this question. I think it's a great question. We should probably do a long form episode about it, but we'll do it live today. Before we get into your amazing questions, I just want to celebrate with you. We have 40,000 subscribers on Friday. Woo! So if you're watching this live and you haven't hit subscribe, please do. It actually means the world to us. And also, we can't do these videos if we don't have subscribers. So we're really, really thrilled that we've hit this milestone. It's just amazing. I'm so, so grateful. So thank you so very much for being part of this amazing journey, and to our amazing team who've helped us get here. Could not do this alone. We started off almost like 9 years ago, just Brad and I. And now there's a bunch of people that are involved in making these videos and getting these live set up and all of that stuff. So just thank you all so very much. Okay. Oh, and we're less than 2 months away from the tour. The winter tour powered by Balanced Body, who makes the Contrology equipment that I love so much. This tour kicks off on December 5th in Colorado Springs. That's first stop is completely sold out. But we have 22 other stops, right, Brad? We go to Fayetteville, Arkansas. We go to St. Louis, Lexington, Kentucky. I think that's the state. We're going to be in Columbus, Ohio, in Detroit. We're going to be in Pittsburgh. We're going to be in Rochester, Boston. Now I'm out of order. Cape Cod. We're going to be in Hershey, Pennsylvania, Charlotte, Washington, D.C., over Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. Clearly, I'm really out of order now. We're also going to be in, did I miss anything, babe? We're going to be, oh, the link is below, opc.me/tour. You can see all the cities even quicker. Delray Beach, Florida, Tampa Bay, Pensacola, New Orleans, Houston, Austin, Phoenix. Ooh, I think I got them all. I think I did it. Hello, UK. DC, have you signed up? Oh, Shields. Hello, Shields. Yes, I know. We're working on healing your body. Okay, guys, so let's talk about Pilates at home versus in a studio. Can you get the same results? Uh, some studio owners are not going to be happy with me. Yes, you absolutely can get the same results of Pilates at home without being in a studio. A particular question asker said she has a reformer at home, and will she get the same results as a classical studio that has everything? Might take a little longer to get the results, but if you are dedicated and you are curious in your body, you absolutely can get the Pilates benefits on your own. That was Joe's intention. So if you want to read some really great books, whether you're two great books you need to read. Contrology Handbook by Cindy Shimoda and Get to Know Joe by Kathy Strack. Get to Know Joe by Kathy Strack is a biography and it is dense, but it is worth the read, okay? Because you will learn who Joe was and his intention. And guess what? The man sold many reformers, not just one to chairs, but reformers and spine correctors for people to do at home. And he had posters. And when you mastered one poster, you ordered another poster. So people like to think that he was like really protective of his method, but he was actually really encouraging people to do it in their homes because he believed in his method. And so I actually do believe, especially with the popularity of Pilates today and how many teachers, no offense to any of the teachers that might only have been trained in a weekend, but a lot of studios focus solely on the reformer only or solely on one thing, and the teachers only train in that one thing. And I actually think that if you give yourself permission to study this method and the equipment you have access to, you absolutely can get the benefits of Pilates at home. So remember, Joseph created the mat work first. And the mat work is very, very difficult. If you get yourself a classical mat, you are going to get some amazing benefits from Pilates mat alone. Now, obviously, if you have some imbalances in your body, it would be great if you had access to a tower or Cadillac. It'd be great if you had access to a spine corrector or a reformer. All those things would be great, but that doesn't mean you're not going to get benefits of doing Pilates. You absolutely can. Now, the question asker has a reformer at home. So guess what? You have a reformer because anywhere you can lie down on the floor, you can do the mat. So absolutely, with just a reformer, you can't. Now, you specifically asked about classical Pilates studios. So what I don't know is if your reformer is a classical reformer. If it is not, I highly recommend checking out how we like to set up reformers so that you can get the full benefits. Also, so that the exercise we do makes sense. You're going to want to lengthen ropes. You're going to want to lower the foot bar. You're going to want to change the risers if you can. All of that stuff is going to help you get more benefits if you're wanting to do classical Pilates. Okay. Now, one of the things that I'm a big advocate for is like there are certain things you can do at home more often, and then you can go to the studio once in a while. So if you do have access to a studio, it just might be more expensive, or maybe you can only do it once a week. Go to the studio once a week for a chair class or a private session using the other equipment, and then dedicate to multiple sessions at home on the mat and reformer. And when I say sessions at home, I do not mean full hours, you guys. At OPC, we actually only do 30 minutes and 45 minutes classes, and we believe finishing is optional. And the reason for that is it is not about the number of minutes you do in one session, but the quantity of quality sessions you do multiple times a week. Joe really wanted you doing 4 times a week, 3 times a week at the studio. So if you can do a day of mat at home, a reformer at home, another mat day, and then you go to the studio for a tower class, oh, amazing, right? And I do think that that is wonderful. Now, the other thing that I think people are missing, like some of you might be watching like, Les, I just have a mat. I don't think that everyone has to have a reformer at home. I think that people should do their mat at home, maybe get a wooden chair and a spine corrector for their home. Those don't take up a lot of space. They can be affordable. Yes, a chair is over $1,000, but it is something you can save up for and get, and it will last you decades, right? And then you can go to a studio for some reformer or some other work. I think it's important to note that, like, when you go to group classes where they are focusing on a great playlist, um, your results are not necessarily quicker than you doing it at home, where you are able to go, oh, that class that that exercise Lesley is doing right now isn't the right one for me, but she just said, do the one that challenged me. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. When you take an online class with me or another OPC teacher and you replace what you can't do yet with something you can, you are building confidence in your own body. You are practicing your courage muscle. You are learning how to have agency and challenging yourself in that way. All qualities you're going to need outside the mat. But more importantly, you are not doing exercises that are not right for your body, which means you're going to get better results quicker. And when you're in a group class, it's designed for the average person in that class, hopefully. It is quite possible that you are not able to replace an exercise you can't do yet, or you're modifying more than you need to because a teacher is like, oh, just do this instead, versus like giving you permission to go inward and challenge yourself in a way that feels good to you. So I'm not knocking group classes, but I do think that there's too much emphasis that you must be in a studio to get results. I don't think that's true. I wouldn't have created what we do if I thought you could not get the benefits of Pilates at home. I really firmly believe in that. So I think that we could live in a world where you could maybe go to a studio once or twice a month, and then you have a great home practice. Where I think people struggle getting results at home is just committing to doing it and not getting distracted by the laundry or having to clean up the kitchen or any of those things. I actually think that's why some people go. But I promise you, if you can figure out a way to commit to yourself at home, you'd be surprised how that trains you for other things that you want to have commitments and disciplines around. You'd be surprised. If you think you always have to, you make this rule for yourself. I always have to go to a studio. It's the only way I can be accountable to myself. It's the only way I can get peace and quiet. You're creating so much pressure on that one time that if the class isn't right or if it gets canceled or whatever, you don't get your movement practice in, and you're outsourcing what I believe is a really important skill set. We owe it to ourselves to be able to tell the people in our lives, hey, I need 30 minutes to myself right now. That is 2% of the day. 2%. We also owe it to ourselves going, I only have 15 minutes. I'm just going to take the first 15 minutes of class. There's nothing wrong with that. This all or nothing mindset is unhelpful, and it's a big distraction from your goals, no matter what they are, whether it's Pilates or running or reading a book, right? The laundry will get done. Something I've always learned. You will eventually do it when you run out of clothes, right? So give yourself that permission. Like, how can you fill your cup first? Can you prioritize your practice first before the other things? You will always get it in. You always will. But if you're trying to do it after these other things get done, you will always be procrastinating on it. So that's where I think people struggle with getting benefit supplies at home. It's not, yes, a teacher having their eyes on you is a really great thing. But even at Joe's studio, you would be working out And and Joe would be there, or Clara would be there, or one of their nieces or a princess would be there, but they weren't watching every movement all the time. And in fact, like I was talking to somebody about this before we left for Chicago and Cambodia. You're not, our brains are not, oh, as an OPC member, our brains are not designed to be corrected for 55 minutes. And that is what is happening in a lot of studios and classes. That every exercise you're getting corrected and corrected and corrected as if that makes good teaching. But Joe would tell you what to do, not what not to do. And he would look at the exercises you were doing and go, huh, what do they need? Right. And so that's where I think a Pilates practice at home could be really beneficial because you get to ask yourself, oh, that feels a little weird. Well, what do I need? And you get to have this autonomy and agency about yourself. So one, in a perfect world, teachers would correct less and create more. And two, people in whether you're a teacher or client would have more agency and autonomy around their personal practice. And you'd be surprised the benefits you're going to get. Anyways, I'm on a pedestal. Oh yeah, the animals. She'll mention like this is really great, but I have a cat. You know what? I have discovered that the cat people have a huge problem telling the cats who's in charge. And I don't have a cat. I do have dogs, and what I like about dogs is I can tell them to off and stay. So I know from some other cat people in my life that they actually have a door and the door is closed. So I don't know if you can do that, or I don't know if you can distract your cat with a treat or a food or something, or a TV show, but that's what I would do. Yeah. Hey, Megan. Good morning. Megan, thank you so much. I know if you've been following on Instagram, so this is the same. I did my own blowout at my hairdresser's place. She taught me. And so I am on a mission to learn how to, this is going to shock a lot of you because you're like, oh, but your hair looks so good in photos. Yeah, that's what hair and makeup assistants are for. So I have been growing my hair out since this YouTube channel existed, and I failed to do two things. I did not continue to braid my hair as it got longer, and I never learned how to blow it out. So now at this length, I have to learn to do these things. But I'm determined. And just like my Pilates practice, it's something I have to be consistent about, and I will get better at it. And it's been 2 days and it still looks great. And I'm like, oh well, great. And my hairdresser was like, okay, well, in a couple days, I said, oh, you think I'm gonna wash this? No, we'll wait a week. Anyways, thank you all so much for being amazing. Thank you for sending your questions. I hope this gives you some food for thought when it comes to your personal practice. For the teachers watching, I hope it gives you some food for thought for how to encourage our clients. You know, it's not easy to come to a studio 3 or 4 times a week. So how can we empower people to have a workout at home combined with a workout at the studio? They will get benefits, and that is where have even more consistency. So thank you all so much. I will see you next Sunday. I will not be missing Sundays for a long time. Have a great day.